Hello, welcome. This is going to be a mental health, emotional health reading. I thought it might be quite nice to do it because basically we've just had the summer solstice, haven't we? And that was following a full moon last week. So we've had very potent energies. The full moon last week could have brought up a hell of a lot of stuff for you. It did for me. I was clearing a lot of stuff, and then also even this summer solstice, it may be the winter solstice if you're on the other side of the hemisphere. But even this summer solstice, it's potent energy. It does bring things up. It can really make you feel pushed to make certain decisions. So I think the emotional mental health reading would be really good to do today in light of the fact we've had quite a lot of energies that could have affected us. So let's do that today. Thanks for subscribing. Thank you for giving the video a thumbs up because it really helps this small channel get out across YouTube. And yeah, thanks a lot for that. So let's go into this. We're going to ask Spirit just to guide us today with our mental health, our emotional health. And the time as I look at the clock is 11:11. So that's a really good sign that we're on track, actually. Oh, wow. Ace of Cups. Oh, my goodness. What a lovely card to start off with. I've picked the Guardian Angel Tarot because I just thought that's a really nice one for our emotional health. This cherub is announcing that a wonderful new emotional experience is coming into your life. You may meet someone new who makes your heart flutter, or your current relationship will experience a reawakening. It is also possible that your intuitive abilities will be greatly increased by your open heart. So with the Ace of Cups, what you're really looking at is, you're looking at the beginning of a new relationship or a current relationship kind of suddenly improving. But also it can be the beginning of a very emotionally fulfilling time in your life. So it's a very good indication from Spirit that things are about to improve. So if you've done a lot of purging on the full moon last week, and then, you feel like there's been lots of changes happening for you emotionally over the solstice period, this is all been probably preparation work for a new chapter in your life that's going to be emotionally fulfilling. So, sorry, I'm just going to have a drink. It's so hot here. So we'll go a bit deeper now. We'll have a look at what's going on. And yeah, the Ace of Cups is showing that there's been the ending of one chapter emotionally, and now there's the beginning of a new emotional chapter. Okay, so current health. Okay, your current health is improving and you've been working at it. This is your emotional health, remember? So your emotional, mental health, you've been working really hard to get yourself in a good place mentally. With this card, it really means you're going to become the expert. You're going to become the expert at really having good mental health and knowing how to manage your mental health, your emotional health. You've also got the Queen of Wands, which is an amazing energy to have. This means that you really do understand now who you are, and like on an emotional level, you know who you are, and you know that you have something of value to offer others, and you do it from a place of positivity rather than from a place of sort of lack or a place of desperation or a place of pain. Because sometimes we offer people, love and friendship and all sorts of things, but it's coming more from a painful place. But this is not. This is really good indication that our emotional and mental health is really improving, because we know we're making good progress mentally and emotionally, and we also know that we are worthy, we are on track, we're starting to feel more positive and assured and know our worth, you know. So the past issues affecting the present. Okay, so it has been difficult because we were really looking to go forward with somebody or go forward with a situation, and whether this is a situation or a person, it's just not been happening because it's in reversed. It's like and that's what's been happening, right? This has already been happening. So either a person has just not been able to step up to the plate, or a opportunity that you were really hoping for just hasn't yet materialized. So that's been affecting your mental health, you see. Now, the other thing is that you've been learning to tune into your needs. Queen of Cups, you know, Queen of Cups means you've been much more realistic about who you are, you know, what your needs are. Now, ultimately, we're all spiritual beings, aren't we? But Eckhart Tolle does describe on his YouTube channel that, in one of his videos, that, you know, we do have a form identity. And the form identity is not just who we are, obviously, because we're this spiritual being, but the form identity is, in a way, it's like there's just basic raw materials we have, you know, basic raw materials that we're given by God or spirit, you know, and that kind of makes up who we are. So some of us are maybe more shy, some of us are more confident, some of us are really good at maths, or some people might be really good at science, some people are just really artistic, creative, some people just love being solitary. You know, there's just so many different ways that we can be, and it's being authentic to that, isn't it? It's kind of discovering what is the raw materials that I've been given by spirit, you know, what is my form identity, not making it into a huge ego, but just kind of accepting kind of what you're, you know, what you've been given, and learning to appreciate and be grateful for your form identity, you know. And this is like the Queen of Cups energy, just she accepts herself, you know, and this doesn't have to mean that you're, you know, a woman. This can be any gender, any sexuality, but it's just about accepting yourself, because that's what the Queen of Cups does. She accepts herself, she's in tune with her needs, she's good at kind of feeling into what her needs are slowly and gently, and then following that and not pushing it on anyone, but just being very true to herself. So, you know, that's kind of been what you've been doing, you know, accepting that something hasn't been working out how you want it, and yet at the same time spending that time to understand yourself on a deeper level and know that, you know, you are worthy to tune into what your needs are, and really not allow other people to dominate you in any way or kind of take advantage of you, but to actually be really true to self. So, I mean, that's a very positive thing, even when you've been experiencing a disappointment at the same time. So, you know, we've been working on a lot on this channel, you know, we really have. How can I improve my health? So you've got here the Nine of Pentacles reversed. Nine of Pentacles reversed kind of means that something's not quite right, you know, something hasn't been quite right, and you maybe you couldn't put your finger on what it was. Maybe you kind of felt like, yeah, I kind of know something's not quite right in my life, I know I kind of need to address it, but it was hard to grasp, perhaps it was hard to address. You've got the Tower card. So, you know, there is some kind of shock, there is some kind of shocking realization, where you kind of think to yourself, right, I need to proceed differently with my life. I can't continue the way I've been going. I have to proceed, you know, in a different way. And that's kind of like what's going to be happening, okay? Okay, that's that card for there. So now, Actions to improve health. I mean, this is kind of similar. It is about taking action now, because you've got here this kind of period of solitary, period of reflection that you've been going through, which has been really necessary, really important to do, so that you could make these realizations and figure out, you know, what your needs were and everything like that. But now you've kind of accepted, okay, something's not progressing very well in my life, or, you know, something's not materializing. It's not progressing how I would have liked, and I now need to be real with my emotions. It is a shock to kind of, you know, it's kind of stuff that goes on internally, but it still can be a shock, because you have to come to terms with something sometimes that is hard, you know, because something isn't beneficial to you, and you need to be real about what you do actually need. It's not about being demanding, it's not about being in ego, but it is about being authentic and real, you know. So, you know, this is about now action happening, because you've had that time to really assimilate in your own mind, to reflect in your own mind, and now it's actually, Spirit is saying, a time of action, that you need to take actions to improve your mental health. You know, you can't wait around anymore, and just keep thinking about it. Now, it's funny, because you've got here walking away from something that, you know, hasn't made you happy, and it's walking away with a heavy heart, but it's in reversed. I feel like there is something or someone you would really like to walk away from, ideally, and it would be with a heavy heart, and if you walked away from it, you might feel sad that this situation or person didn't work out in your life, but it's something you just know you would have to do. But the thing is, that card's in reverse, so Spirit is really saying, you know, you can't really walk away from the situation or the person at the moment. It's not really time to do that. It's more about, how do you accept your needs, but at the same time you can somehow keep this person in your life, maybe as a friend, or maybe like that, maybe their role can change in your life, or you know, maybe just learning to accept the situation you're in. Somehow you can't walk away from this situation yet, but somehow you can get your head around it in a different perspective, so that you can you know, deal with it and live with things at the moment as they are, because it looks like at some point it may be the correct thing to do to walk away, but at the moment Spirit is kind of saying no, it's not the right time to walk away at the moment, and that's probably not what's going to be happening, which is quite a strange message for me to give, but that's what I'm being shown. And you know, it's like there are certain actions you do need to take to improve your mental health. There are certain things you do need to do, but there is something here to do with it's not the right time to walk away from a situation or a person as yet. So yeah, we've got that. Immediate changes, you really need to stop thinking about this situation. And I know you'll probably want to slap me, because it's really hard when you've got a situation in your life which is causing you, you know, mental stress, especially because if it's not working out, because that's what it looks like we're dealing with. We're dealing with a situation that hasn't really worked out, and you know, it's causing this kind of you know, mental grief or anguish, stress. It's in reversed. You know, Spirit is just saying you have to be very strict with yourself and not allow yourself to constantly be thinking about this situation or constantly be thinking about this person, because if you do that, it's really not going to be beneficial to you. So that's kind of a piece of action you can actually be taking. To be very vigilant, you know, this is part of consciousness work. If you watch a lot of Eckhart Tolle stuff, or Mooji, or Papaji, or Ramana Maharishi, those gurus all teach the same thing, which is being very strict and vigilant with your mind and not allowing it to constantly be thinking negative thought patterns or obsessively thinking about, you know, other people or our desires, because that locks us into samsara and suffering. So Spirit is trying to advise you here in the tarot to say, you know, you really need to try not to be thinking so much about this situation. Right, and then you've got the Emperor reversed. Ooh. You have to surrender, because the Emperor is all about taking charge, taking action. In reverse, you know, you can't take charge and you can't take action, in a sense that you can't. I do feel there's a situation to a certain level where you have to surrender. There's certain actions you definitely need to take. Life can't continue the way it's been continuing, and you now need to take certain actions. But at the same time, there is still a situation in your life that is not fully resolved. And in terms of that, you just have to kind of surrender and stop thinking about it. And just trust in Spirit, because Spirit will sort it out, okay? Now, state of mind about your mental health is the Ace of Cups. I think sometimes you are definitely worrying, okay? You're definitely going to be worrying about kind of how you feel, you know, and it's like you're worried about, am I going to be emotionally happy? Am I going to be okay? You know, it's almost like a sense of anxiety rippling underneath, it's simmering underneath you. And you know, this reading's for July. We're about to go into July, aren't we? So, you know, you may be sort of thinking about that in July. But you know, you've got High Priestess. High Priestess is very powerful, very potent. You actually are much more powerful than you realise. And in July, you're going to start realising it more and more and more, how powerful you really are when you actually stand in your authenticity and your truth, because nobody can argue with your authenticity and your truth. And, you know, it's like you're very in tune with your needs in July. This is what I am really pleased to see, is that in July, we are all on this channel going to be embracing ourselves more, and meeting our own needs more, rather than always sort of putting the needs of others first, you know. Everybody's got their own journey, so we're not responsible for other people's needs. They're responsible for their needs, for their journey. We're responsible for our needs, for our journey. If it's predestined that our paths cross with certain people for certain periods of time, that's all divinely going to happen anyway, regardless of what we do. You know, that's why we need to kind of, with this Emperor card, you know, and this Nine of Swords card, it's like Spirit is just saying, don't think about it, don't stress about it, trust in Spirit, because Spirit's going to, you know, make this situation happen in your life if it's predestined anyway. The best thing you can do in July is just focus on your needs, getting really in tune, knowing you've got value to offer, being very private as well, not being so sharing with others, actually just being quite private about what you're doing and what you're planning. It's going to make your energy very attractive. You're going to be working more deeply with Spirit if you work like this. You know, because you're just kind of quietly getting on with your life, your own way, and that is a more spiritual way to live, rather than sort of worrying so much about others or telling people what you're doing, you know, and sort of going out into the matrix as much, because that's obviously then getting you too involved in other people's lives, and that's kind of not what you're going to be doing in July. You're going to be much more private, much more in tune with yourself. You're going to be a bit worried sometimes about, you know, am I ultimately going to be happy? But with the High Priestess card, I think deep down you know that you will be happy. Deep down you just know that the way of life you're now cultivating is the right way of life for you. You know, so the path to start feeling better. Have a think about anybody that might be using you, because you've got the Two of Pentacles in reversed. Is there anybody in life who's taking money off you or using you in some way? Have a think about that. Also make sure you're not people pleasing because when the Two of Pentacles in the upright position, that's people pleasing. I don't think you will be. I think this is all going to be, July is going to be all about you taking your power back. You know, you need to grieve what hasn't worked out or hasn't been happening for you. But you now need to, you know, in July, you need to be thinking about the 2 cups you've got there and that solid road ahead. Things are going to massively pick up for you in July. You're going to see such a turnaround. I feel this is going to be quite a important month, really, to turn your mental health around, because you're going to be taking a stand for the first time and saying, no, I'm not doing these certain things anymore that have been unhealthy for me. I'm in tune with my needs. I'm doing things my way. I'm going to be very private about it. You're kind of embracing yourself, learning not to worry so much, learning not to people please. And the outcome is you're going to be really over a very difficult part of your life. This was a very difficult part of your life. It was a very hard timeline that you were on. I think it was all tied into grief and sort of grieving a period of your life, I think, that was over. And you've been grieving that period of your life and it was hard, but you've done that now and you've got the Justice card. Things are going to go in your favour. July is going to be a really good month for anybody that watches this channel regularly, because we're all on the same frequency. I know the work that we've all been doing. And yes, the grieving part, the part where we've been mourning a loss, and I don't mean necessarily a death, but it's kind of like been the ending of an identity that we had, or ending of a relationship we had, an ending of a chapter, a cycle we were on. And July is going to be a pivotal month to be like, you know, I'm not actually grieving it anymore. I'm not actually feeling like that. I'm actually embracing myself. I'm embracing the things that make me happy. You know, and it's going to be that kind of vibe in July. It's going to be like, wow, I can live my life my way. I don't have to answer to anybody. I can be private. I'm starting to feel my true power come back, and I'm starting to actually live in the moment and enjoy my life. And even if there's something that isn't quite yet resolved, I feel more positive about it because I know I'm on the right path. So look, that's the message for July. The Ace of Cups was the first card to come out, and the Justice card is the last card to come out. So things are really gonna go in our favour in July. There could be some sort of surprises in store, some pleasant surprises, some good outcomes as well. And just basically starting to feel much more emotionally fulfilled in our lives generally. There's going to be a lot less pain, all right? And for some people, there could be a new relationship or a new way of life that's just going to make you happy, okay? So that's the message. If you want to book in, you know, you're really, really welcome. Thanks for giving the video a thumbs up so it can reach more people on YouTube. Thanks for subscribing. I am sending you lots of love, lots of peace wherever you are on Gaia.